If you are using CC 2017 or CC 2018 of After Effects, then this section about Essential Graphics is for you. Essential Graphics in version CC 2019 has been very much upgraded and has become more interesting and more powerful, mainly when it comes to using also the responsive design. So if you are in CC 2019, please, you can go through this section. It's very informative, but then make sure that you go to the next section where we talk about the essential graphics for CC 2019. Welcome to CC 2017 updates. To be able to follow along here or have the options that we're going to talk about, you must be in After Effects CC version 14.2 at least. Of course, if you have a newer version, even it's better. In this section, you will learn about the essential graphics, how to set up a motion graphics template, how to export it, and I will show you an immediate example and application using Premiere Pro. You will learn how to use the essential graphics panel within Premiere Pro and how to drop your template within the project that you have in Premiere Pro. We will also go through how changes in After Effects will affect your lower third in Premiere Pro. So in the next lecture, we are going to take this simple example of a lower third and create its own template. In this lecture, we are going to create a motion graphics template for this simple lower third here. It is simple and easy, so we can make our exploration simple and easy. Also, the colors are a bit odd, so you can change them to what you want using the template itself. What's a motion graphics template before we start? A motion graphics template, according to Adobe and according to After Effects, is an animation where you keep the animation, but you can change certain properties such as the content of the text, the color of the fill, the stroke, width and color, and even the opacity if you'd like to. You could come to the window here and open Essential Graphics. That's one way to do it. But my favorite way is to come to the composition inside the project panel, right click and say Open in Essential Graphics. Here you are. The Essential Graphics should open over here or somewhere else if you changed it, and you are now ready to start adding certain properties that will form the template, and later on you can export them to other programs where you will change these properties. Now, you notice here in the Essential Graphics there is the name. This will be the name of the motion graphics template, and it will be used to write your template on your storage media or your hard disk. So you usually give it a good name. Don't give it ABCD. I will write here lower third from AE. Not very descriptive about the lower third, but it will help us when we go to Premiere. Now notice here there is the master. Because I right clicked on the lower third, it has opened the master over here. The master is the composition for which you are creating the template. If I click, I could have chosen news, but now you can create a template for lower third and another one for the news composition. Now, what are the properties I can drop here to create my motion graphics template? You have here solo supported properties, very useful. But if I click here, I will be soloing whatever is inside news. So make sure you choose your right composition. Here you are. So we are choosing lower third, and then we click on solo supported properties. And you notice how many properties you can just click and drag and drop them inside your template. There are not very many, by the way. If you look at them, you have the roundness of a shape, and you don't have the size and so on of the shape. You have the stroke, the fill, the transform rectangle one, you have skew and opacity, and you have transform only opacity over here. From the layer, you cannot use scale, rotation, and position. In the text, you notice you only have the source text, and we already animated the opacity, so we only have the source text. Let's scroll down and start dropping. Now, I will take the source text, which we know is the content of the text. We click and drag and drop it inside the panel itself. It creates here the name of the property and its content. for text, of course. So you don't want to call it source text when you are giving this to somebody normal, meaning it doesn't work on After Effects. You might want to put, for example, input text. Okay, now the last minute news here, you cannot change it. This is the content. If I change it over here, it's gonna change over here. I will show you this later. Fine. Now from the bars here, we have several options. Let's roll down this one up to see more. We can take, for example, the roundness, but we don't need it in our case now. You can take the stroke color. Well, that will be interesting. If I click on color and drop it up, it says only color, and I have no clue what color is it for. Is it for the stroke, whatever. So maybe we give it a good name. We call it stroke color. That will make more sense, right? You can also choose the opacity of the stroke, which is not necessary, or the stroke width, because we can put it at 0. So let's take stroke width and drop it in, and it's written nicely stroke width. Now let's go to fill. If you would like, you can use the color of the fill and the opacity. Here you are. Pretty nice. Now it's getting mixed up a bit. It's better to add a comment to separate them. We are going to add some properties for the lower bar. Notice here color is not very descriptive. Maybe we add in the beginning background color. Then we add a comment to separate, say here top bar, and we put a certain comment here, change colors, for example. You can make it more descriptive later. Then I will click on the top bar and just drag it under the text. So I know now all these are for the top bar. If I create another comment, I will say lower bar, and then over here I will say change colors. And of course I did 2 spelling mistakes. This is me, I always do that. And then I'll come over here and change this one just to make it nice for you guys. Cool. Now in the lower bar here, let's go to the lower bar and decide. First of all, we need the color. Just take it and drop it. This is of course the color of the fill. Maybe we drop the opacity also. Now we don't have much space, so let's take this one down. And I guess for our example, it's very okay. So I will take the command and just drop it on top. So we created the template now, and we can start playing with these values if we are in After Effects or in Premiere Pro. In the next lecture, we'll see how to play with the values. I'm sure you're already playing with them. Okay, it seems in the previous lecture I messed up a bit. I dropped them in the wrong places. Now I organized them and gave them better names. So how do you use the Essential Graphics template within After Effects? Actually, you don't. It's meant to be exported and used in Premiere Pro. But now, you could use it here. Instead of coming inside your layers, you can come and start changing the values within your template. Let's close this template. Okay, so now we don't see it at all. We are over here and we want to test. We're gonna play and test it. Okay, I don't like the colors and so on with this video. I would like to change them. Without the template, you have to go to the composition or the pre-comp and then change the values from inside the layers. Pretty tedious. But now that you have done a template, you can come to lower third, right click and say open in Essential Graphics, and you can see your template. So you can practically test while playing this animation. Let's do that. So I'm playing here and it's going, let's make it shorter to 2 seconds so it goes very speedy. Here you are, let's say. Good. So now I will change, for example, the width. I will make it 10 and watch, is it working? I don't like it. Let's make it 2. See, it has become quite easy. Let's change the background now. Let's say we make the background blue. Here you are. Well, not bad. Let's change the other background and make it, I don't know, something funny. Let's do that. Okay, it's looking nice. I can also change, for example, the opacity of the lower one. Let's make it transparent. We don't want it. Here you are. So it's quite easy now to start testing with colors with the attributes I put over here. You can decide also to change the text immediately here without going to the layer and say happening now to stay in the context of news. Here you are, you click out and it has changed the text. Now this is quite practical in After Effects if you want to do that. Now all this has been registered. I can go ahead and create the video. You know, you change the colors, everything is set. You can go ahead and create your video, and the template has been very useful. Now let's remember that the top bar is blue now, and let's go inside our lower third composition and see exactly what happened there. If I double click and go to the top bar, twirl it down and twirl down the content, you notice that it has changed the fill color to blue. So if I come over here and change it back to white, okay, for example, you notice it has changed here. So it's a two-way, if you would like. You change in the template, it will change in your comp. You change in your comp, it changes in the template. The system has a lot of integrity, and you can really work with it with a lot of confidence. I will undo this one. Let's go back to our news. This is about using the template within After Effects. In the next lecture, I will show you how to export it and where it will export, and you will see how to take it into Premiere Pro. Okay guys, the final stage in After Effects is to export your motion graphics template. Now, after you're happy from your animation and you're happy from everything, at least at 50%, because you can still come back here and change, you want to export your motion graphics template. Let's click on it, and actually it will ask you to save your project. But all this jumping here, it has saved the project, and it's asking me for the destination. Let's twirl down destination. You can see Essential Graphics, Local Drives, and the libraries. These are my libraries on the cloud. Now, what is Essential Graphics? Essential Graphics is a special folder where you will save your templates, and it's picked up by other CC Suite programs, such as Premiere Pro. So if you save it in Essential Graphics, as soon as you open Premiere Pro, you will see your template. If you save it on your local drive somewhere in a special folder, then when you open Premiere Pro, you need to navigate to this folder and pick them up from there. It will not be automatic. But Essential Graphics, it will be automatically picked up and listed within your motion graphics template within Premiere Pro. So let's choose Essential Graphics and click OK to save. Now, where is this folder? I would like here to tell you, this folder is a hidden folder within your system. You can actually find it just in Application Data, Roaming, Adobe Common, Essential Graphics. Here you have all the templates that you save to Essential Graphics, and Premiere and hopefully other software will come and pick them up from here. But notice App Data is a hidden folder on Windows. I'm not pretty sure about the Mac operating system, but I know that in Windows this is a hidden folder. So unless you are viewing hiddens, you will not be able to get to here. Actually, this is very convenient if you keep them away from you deleting them. There are some interesting files here. If you double click on this one, if you delete this file, it will reinstall the default motion graphics templates. I don't know what they mean by this, but actually if you change these ones, it means you can restore the defaults. Cool. So this is how you save, and this is where you save. In the next lecture, we are going to jump to Premiere Pro. And I would like you to remember the name of the template is LT from AE, or lower third from After Effects, and it's gonna be picked up in Premiere. So guys, in this lecture, we are going to see the first application after exporting the motion graphics template that we have created over here. So we are going to jump to Premiere Pro and see exactly how it happens there. Let's go. Now we are in Premiere Pro. But one note of caution, please, guys. You need to have your graphics workspace over here. Or if you come to Help and you go to Adobe Premiere Pro, you need to be in Adobe Premiere Pro CC 2017.1.2 at least, or version 11.0 Oasis. So the best way to see your templates and to work with them is to go to the graphics workspace. Here you are. Now the Essential Graphics panel has opened, and you can see the graphic templates that you have created. It's saved over here. It's in the root folder. But also you see all the standard templates that have been provided by Premiere. Let's try to use the motion graphic template you have created. You just click on it and come to your sequence and just drop it anywhere you want. And here you are. It is very much live, and the colors are live. So it's as easy as it's just drag and drop. So now let's say you want to change the colors, you want to change what's written here and talk about this guy riding the bike. How do you edit it? As simple as this. You just click on your template and it opens in the edit. See, you were in browse, now you are in edit. And here, all the properties that we have set together are showing. The text, you can come and change it. For example, riding high. Cool. And then you can change the colors. We have the stroke color here. Let's make it, for example, green. Okay, we go to green. It's green now. Something like this. Let's change the background now. We go to make it, for example, something dark. Here you are. Orange will work. I don't know, something like this. You can change the stroke width. So in short, all the properties that you inserted in the template are now displayed here, and you can play with them the way you would like. Cool, guys. So it's really pretty portable and it's pretty easy to use if you want to. Cool. This is the first application. Now we have a slight problem here. You notice that the composition in After Effects was 7 seconds, if you noticed. Now it's limited to 7 seconds over here. If you want more time, then you will have to go back to After Effects and change it. If you want, for example, to do major changes such as the speed, you will have to go to After Effects and change them. Let's do that. Let's go back to After Effects and change the timing and see exactly how it goes. We go to After Effects. Here we are. And the first thing we want to do is to change the composition length for the lower third, of course, to, let's say, 20 seconds. Here we are. We make it 20 seconds. And then let's select one layer. Control A to select all of them and press U to see the animation, and let's make them a bit longer. You know what I mean? So things are changing. We don't care if the animation is okay. We just care to make them obviously changed. Here you are. Of course, these updates now are only in the composition here in your project. They haven't been exported. You did not make any change to the template. You need to export the template again to write on your hard disk again, and then you will import it back in Premiere Pro. So let's click on Export. And we go for Essentials, of course, and we click OK. It says file already exists. Do you want to replace it? Well, actually, this is a perfect update. It does not update the file or write something inside the file. It would just overwrite it. This is pretty cool. Let's click OK. We updated our template. Let's go back to Premiere Pro and see exactly what happened. Now, you notice in Premiere, in the sequence here, nothing has changed. I still have the same template, nothing has changed at all. It's working pretty fine as before. Well, Premiere will not update anything inside your sequence. You will have to take it and drop it again. Let's delete this one. Go back to Browse. Take the new template because you overwritten. Then click and drag, and here you are. It's pretty long now. It's 20 seconds, and actually it's gonna be pretty slow. So you notice how you update. You update in After Effects, you export again, and then come back to Premiere, and if you want to replace it, you need to click and drop again. So actually, it's pretty easy, guys. So you can do any kind of changes, export again, and remember, save your project, and then come to Premiere and effect the changes. Here, you can now edit the way you would like. For example, if I take this red stretch tool, click over here and make it much speedier. Here I am. Now I have, sped it up, and it's quite cool. In the next lecture, I will show you some tips and tricks that are very rare to come by, so you can get your templates to be perfect and get them in Premiere Pro to do any change. In the previous lecture, guys, I promised you that I will show you some techniques to add on the supported properties. But I have a condition here that you should have gone through the section per character animation and through the section of expressions. Otherwise, you will be lost a bit in what I'm going to talk about. Cool. Let's assume that you have gone through the sections, you ask all your questions, and you mastered them. Now, you notice over here that I have no way to add the property for changing the color of the text. Not feasible at all. If you come to solo properties, just to show you, the color of the text here is impossible. Actually, you cannot change the color of the text here. You have to go to the character panel to change the color. So how do we add the property to change the color? It is very easy. Let's go to animate here. And you notice you have the fill color. It's RGB, hue, saturation, pretty nice. Let's add RGB. And here you are. The color has changed to red. And there is a range selector with a fill color red. Okay, let's change it back to white. Now, you can click on the fill color, drag it and put it under input text, for example, and let's call it text color. Okay, I'll click a bit outside. It has confirmed. Now I have the text color that can change from the essential graphics. Let's export, and we say yes, it's gonna save the project. I will say okay, overwrite, and we go to Premiere, and we go back to our browse, and we have our lower third. We click on it and drop it inside the timeline over here, and you notice now I have the ability to change the color. If I come to edit, click on the lower third itself, and here you are, you have text color where you can click, and obviously you know it, you can change the color, for example, to red, or something much better, to yellow, so you can see it. Okay, here you are. That was a fantastic experience. I think you learned how to use the animate for text to add properties into your motion graphics template. In the next lecture, I will show you another advanced technique. In this lecture, guys, I'm gonna show you a very powerful technique where you will use expressions and effects inside your motion graphics template, and I hope you will enjoy it. So let's start. What about if we want to change the position? You know, position here has come from the composition in After Effects. How about if we would like to change it in Premiere Pro? How do we do that? Let's go to After Effects. And here we notice there is no position we can take and drop in our motion graphics template. We have to create one. Okay, so what can we exactly do? Let's try a few things first of all. Let's come to FX and Preset and look for Control. Okay, so you have the slider control. Well, actually, if I want to change the position left and right, I could use a slider and link it to the X position of the text layer. That could be cool. Let's take the slider control and just drop it over here. So before we start doing anything, let's go and click on Solid Properties again to open it, and we turn up the animator, we don't need it, and here you are. You can drop the slider control. Take the slider and put it just under the text, input text, or the text color. Here you are. And I will call it text position. Now, all I have to do is to link this slider to the position. Very good. Let's come over here and press P, and we have our position. I will now start creating the expression. To do that, I have to press Alt and click on the stopwatch. If you are on the Mac, you press Option, click on the stopwatch, and I will link now using the pick whip to the slider control. Here you are. But now notice carefully, if I click out, I will be using the X and the Y, meaning horizontal and vertical, to link. I don't want that. I want this value, the second value over here, to link it to the second value here, so there is no change at all. And now if I click out and come and increase the slider, here you are, it's working pretty fine. And my slider, the text position, is inside my template, which is great. Let's put the slider at 0. And this is not cool for us, so we are going to move it. Now, notice what's happening. This guy is getting stuck at 100. We need to change the range. Now, whatever I do here, edit range is not going to appear because of the resolution I'm using. So I will click on Edit Range and come over here. Notice how beautiful it is. You have slider range from 0 to so on. So I can change the values here. I'll keep it slider from 0 to, for example, 1200. Remember, your composition is 720 by 1280. I think 1200 will do. I'll click OK. Now the slider over here will go from 0 to the last value, 1200. Here you are over there. And the slider is inside the text position. Actually, now I have full control of the position the way I would like. And the editor, the video editor, will not shout at me to tell me this text, I don't want it centered and a change in the composition. Let's try it if it works in Premiere. I will export, save, and say OK. And I say OK, overwrite. Go to Premiere. I will delete this one for now, and then come to Browse, come to the LT from AE, click on it, drag and drop it over here. Cool, select it and go to Edit. Here you are. You have text position, and I'm sliding from 0 till 1200. You notice that the position is limited here, so it's up to you to make sure that your range is correct in After Effects. Here you are. Now I can position it. Let's say we want to position it over here. Okay, and let's run and see exactly, is it really running? Here you are. Okay, it's happening now. It's really happening because we have used the opacity. Intelligently, we have used the opacity. So this method from After Effects to use a certain effect and to test if these effects can come in your motion graphics template is very important. I can add here that if you come to your text and you can add the animate here, there are some of them pretty hard to use, but you can work with them. I challenge you to use the scale with the tracking together in one single animator so you can simulate the scale itself on a single line. This is a big tip. Now, if you really want to succeed, top succeed in After Effects, never give up. Always try to find, okay, how can I combine all these effects, the controls, whatever I can find, so I can create what I want. And this will lead you to create extraordinary animation and extraordinary effects. Thank you very much for listening. I'll see you in the next lecture.